Holy Wild Birth is a podcast embracing the reclamation of giving birth rooted in God's original design, undisturbed.
Here, we share homebirth stories highlighting God's presence as the great midwife, as well as conversations about all aspects of a holistic, spirit-led childbearing year, from the perspectives of myself, traditional midwife Lauren Hall, of Rooted in Eden Private Membership Association,
And me, holistic birthkeeper and photographer Brooke Lauren of Sister Birth. Together, we are co-founders and facilitators of Hearth Mother Journey, where we are raising up the next generation of holy wild birth keepers.
To choose a holy wild birth journey is to consecrate all of your decisions unto the Lord and reclaim creation unadulterated by centuries of human attempts to control and improve upon what God has called good.
Please remember that birth is not a medical event, but a natural process, and we are not your care providers, so this should not be taken as medical advice. Hey, friend.
Hello.
It's our cup of tea time. Let me ask you, as usual, do you have tea or any beverage at all?
I have no beverage,
None.
actually. I guess I do have a nice big cistern of spring water that we've
Just across
collected
the room.
next to me. No, it's within arm's reach, but I don't actually have it cup poured right
Oh, yeah,
now.
you're sitting in a different spot than
So,
usual.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
I am trying to get better sound. So
Hmm.
I've been moving a bit in this big old room.
Yeah.
Right now I'm facing a corner,
Mm-hmm,
trying
mm-hmm.
to see if we can't get the better sound for you all.
Okay. And of course, as you're talking about better sound, a couple of my children just walked right by my office door kind of loudly. So sorry about that, friends, but real life. And my only beverage is my water bottle that had lemon water in it. That's now almost gone. So ironic we call these cups of teas, and yet we're almost never actually drinking tea or even
Right.
coffee.
I know, right?
Oh, well.
It's because of the time of day we tend to record.
Yeah,
I
that
was
is
like,
part
I've
of it.
already enjoyed my morning routine and I've done the thing because we're not, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm not
Ooh,
recording a podcast during my normal drinking and joining.
we were talking, we're probably going to talk about our morning routines a little bit today. And I just had this little thought of like, wouldn't it be funny if we did our cup of tea recording during our morning routine while we're doing our morning light
I mean,
outside? Probably
I
wouldn't
guess we
really work, but that
could.
would be kind of fun.
I've actually, as you say that, I have seen someone, I don't remember what podcast it was, but she had had a baby and it was like a couples podcast. They did it together and they're having their first baby, like obviously shifted a lot of their things but their business really surrounded their podcast. And so it was like something that they felt they needed to prioritize in that season, but they were trying to figure out, you know, even after maternity leave, how do we keep doing this?
Yeah.
And so they just started recording from their iPhones in their I think they were using, like, AirPods and just going for a morning walk,
Oh, I love
and
that.
they were like, "Okay, this is us doing our podcast on our morning walk
Yeah.
with our baby," and
That's
it didn't
sweet.
sound terrible, and it was like, you might hear that we're moving, you might hear that these are the things, but it was just them talking, and it was just great, and
You
I was
might
like,
hear
"Actually."
them breathing like this when they go up
Yeah,
through the hills or
right.
something.
Right, but they were, like, walking along a beach and, it was just like, you're gonna hear the ocean in the background, and you're gonna hear, like, maybe somebody walk by us
Cool.
and
I
whatever,
can
but,
dig
like,
it.
this is where it looks like we can fit it in our lives, and it's a
Yeah.
priority to us, so we're just bringing you along, and it was just I don't know, but it
I
kinda
love
makes me
that.
think, actually, it would fit our cup of tea vibe
It totally
to
would.
just do a morning routine, and
Yes. Let's
actually
talk more about that.
I did call Jess yesterday? I think yesterday during my morning routine. So
Mhm.
normally, I wake up and I immediately am going outside and I see the sunrise and then I come in, I grab some food and I go right back out. Sometimes I'll grab my food first and then just go out in one fell swoop and I'm spending like 2 hours outside in the morning.
Beautiful.
And so I have my Bible, my journal, my pen, and my breakfast and my beverage, and I just go out with all the things. I've been either laying on one of my Turkish towels in the
Mhm.
sunrise and just kind of enjoying that. But yeah, so that's
Yeah.
generally what I'm doing. But the other day I was out there and something came up during that time that I was like, I want to talk to Jess about this. And so I
Mhm.
called her and she was actually in the middle of her workout. It was kind of later in the morning portion. So I'd already been out for like an hour and a half and done my Bible time and all the things. And so I called her and she was like, yeah, I'm actually doing my morning workout. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll let you go. And she's like, no, I've got you in my like this will be fine. And so we just talked for an hour while she worked out and I was sunbathing,
Oh,
and
nice.
it just was like, "This
A little
actually made this
companionship in
so
your routines.
beautiful."
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just kinda reminds me of how easy that was to just chat, and yeah, so maybe
That's
we do
great.
do
Maybe
that.
we try that in September for the September cup of tea. I would be game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know you and I are both up much earlier than we're actually, like, able to get into our offices and work
Right,
together, so
exactly. So, that might actually make even our lives a little easier
Mhm.
trying to fit things into office hours that we both carry. If we
Yeah.
just made it part of our like, "Hey, we're just gonna talk anyways." Like,
Mhm.
just talk to my friend and let others listen during our
Yeah.
morning. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that actually sounds
Well,
really,
it
really fun.
does. I love that you're getting a solid couple of hours out there every day. That's beautiful. I am
Yes.
definitely not getting that much time out at
No?
this point. I think there's some working up to that that may have to happen, but also, like, my littlest guy wakes up. I could probably get him to come out a little bit, but he needs to
Mhm.
be really supervised. He's kind of a wild card, so
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah,
so
I get up earlier than everyone. They don't all wake up
me
as
too,
early as
except
I do.
him.
So I'm right. Sometimes my babes will wake up. Generally, it's funny, it's almost always one or the other.
Mm,
And I think it's because they kind of tend to switch in the middle of the night who they're sleeping with, like, one will sleep more with Brandon, one will sleep with me, but it's always, like, they, like, switch, like, generally, they'll go both down, Willow and Ren will both go down with Brandon, and it's like he's holding both of them, and then I'm right next to, but there's some space there because they like to just I don't know. Anyways, so that's what that
they're
looks
flailing
like.
around. That's what
They're
would
flailing
co-sleeping be without
around and
flailing
they
babies.
exactly, and we have, like, full family bed, like, we have a king and a queen that are smushed together and go wall to wall floor bed because our just the house size that we have and what my 3rd youngest girl has always been used to, so she's still there, so generally, it's normally, like, me, Leela, Ren, Brandon, Willow, we just kind of are all there, and then every once in a while they'll just go to sleep before and then Brian and I can, like, actually sleep next to each other, but, it just is what it is. So but somewhere
Yeah.
in the way I don't know why I'm on this topic, but this is what happens in our life. So, one one or the other will wake up in the middle of the night, and then they're, like, mad that I'm on the other side of the bed, even though that's exactly how we would sleep. And so they get up and they're like, "Mom!" And then they come and they cuddle in next to me, and they're like, "Okay." And so if that happens, because it's not every night, but the nights that it happens, generally that baby will wake up when I get up, and she'll go out with me. But then I just let her run around naked, playing around while I'm there. Sometimes she'll sit there and
Yeah.
read with me. I'm reading my Bible, and so she'll just pretend that she's reading and
Well,
turn the
that's sweet.
pages as I'm trying to read the passage and like, "Okay, we're gonna read that passage now. Perfect,"
Yeah. You're choosing my scripture reading plan today.
You're
Yeah.
doing this. Awesome. But I like to involve them in scripture reading and stuff too. We actually were
Yeah.
talking recently about getting them both they both have their own Bibles, but letting them have their own, like, ability to flip through and mark through and, so a lot of times I'll like, "Okay, here's your Bible, here's mine," and then she can flip through and be a part.
Mhm.
But anyways, so
That's cute.
that's I don't know where we were at there, but, like, most of the time I'm waking up I'm waking up at 5:30 to 6 a.m. without alarms. I just wake up. Sounds, just kinda I can look at the sky and be like, "Oh, it's kinda dark, but kinda light. Okay." And I feel rested, so I just get up and go out, and then I don't really need to do anything until 9, and
Mhm.
most people in the house are waking at, like 8:30 generally, sometimes a little earlier, sometimes later. There's 10 of us. Everybody wakes up at different times.
Yeah.
And generally the youngest 4 to 5 or 5, youngest 5 are the ones that wake up. The older 3 teens kind of tend to sleep in a little bit later. But and so they'll just come and join me, and I'm like, "Yep, I'm outside." Like, "This is where you're at too."
Yeah, that's great.
So
They just
or
wander
they
out
just
there with
make
you.
their own breakfast or they, whatever. So they just wander out
Mhm.
and
Yeah, that's a good
they'll
reminder to
come
just
and
challenge
visit the
myself to
chickens
just
and
stay out there, and if people wake up, then they'll find me when they wanna find me, and yeah, I could
yep.
probably do more of that.
Oh, they will find
Mhm.
you. That is for sure.
Yep. No, I
They
know.
will
Oh, I
definitely
don't doubt it
find
for a
you.
second.
So,
Or they'll start shouting, "Mom! Mom, where are you?"
I you know
But if they know that I'm gonna be
yeah.
out there every
I think
morning, like,
I've
if
been
that's a
doing it
reliable
long
thing, then
enough.
they'll
Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, I've been doing this for probably a year, really, really deeply, intensely for the last, like, 3 months, 4 months. And so, like, I've been getting morning sun, and at first it was I just walked out to my deck and I sat there, and so they knew I was always outside, like, I was starting my day outside. A lot of times I would come right back in. It started with, like, 5 minutes, and now I'm out there from again, a year and a half into the process. I'm now out there from like 6 to 9 every morning. So I just am like, where you are, like
totes,
what feels
yeah.
good? What are you wanting? And so, yeah, now that's just, but they know that's where I'm going to be. The babies
Yeah.
know they can wait, like they used to wake up and freak out, like, where are you at? And then they would come to the door crying. And now they're like, "But she's outside." Like, "This is
Yeah,
where she's at."
that's
And
great.
so they just wander out and find me because I'm always in the same spot. So, yeah, that works
Yeah.
for us.
There's a waxing and waning to some of these habits because I also started some of them quite a while ago, and then it kind
Oh,
of,
for
like,
sure.
falls to the wayside for a bit, and I pick it back up again. But one of my entry points to trying to get outside first thing in the morning was inspired by a previous birth client of mine who I met her really late in her pregnancy, and she was just telling me about their life and stuff, and they had lived in California, and they, like, slept outside every night, even though they did have a home, but they slept outside, and they peed outside all the time. They would just go pee outside, and she was still in that habit even here in Michigan, probably not as much in the winter. So if she woke up in the night, she would just head out and urinate in the lawn. And so she actually had the one of my favorite births I've ever attended. It was just such a beautiful, smooth, undisturbed, raw, primal birth that will stick in my memory forever. Outdoors, just on the earth with the cicadas singing and the stars overhead. And it was amazing. And I sometimes think that some of her way of like living in harmony with nature, like she did, was probably set her up
Uh-huh.
for having that kind of a birth. So I found
Oh,
her
100%.
just way of being, like, really inspiring in that regard. So I started peeing outside. So my husband does it too,
Awesome.
like, he's ever since we moved out of the city and into, like, a place where we have more private land around us, he's like, "Now I can pee
Yeah.
outside." And so almost any opportunity he gets, he'll pee outside. Now, obviously, when you're a man, that's a little bit simpler, even in the middle of the day. But so we have
It's a
in
little
our
easier,
bedroom
yeah.
in our current house, we have this big glass doors that open up to a little porch and then the back of our house, which is quite private. And so he will pee out there all night long. And I was like, "Hey, I could do that too." So even in the winter for a while, or like when it was colder, I would stand on the porch steps and like hang my butt over the edge and just pee into the like ground on the side of the steps. And now that
Nice.
it's warmer, I
Love
just
it.
go all the way
I love it.
outside and crouch down on the ground somewhere and pee. And and then I just stay out there.
Yeah.
Like, cause I didn't have to walk down my hallway because our bathroom we do not have an ensuite bathroom or it's not even across the hall. It's kind of a walk. So I just pee outside and stay outside instead of interrupting that flow by having to go down the hall and turn on a light and use the bathroom and just kind of try to enjoy that light and then kind of habit stacking from there of trying to add some journaling and some movement. And at first I was just doing stretches and like shoulder circles and just kind of like reaching up to the sky and then I make
Yeah.
breakfast and then head back outside again, usually onto my front porch or something, which is not screened in or anything, so it's still some good light. Eat breakfast outside, and then sometimes my little guy will join me when he wakes up. sometimes not. Yeah, so I highly recommend squatting down to pee outside.
I love that so
Do
much.
your first morning pee outside.
Nice. I might do you feel like it's just helping you just get outside first or like you're I mean, you're even doing it in the middle of the night. So like
Sometimes, not always.
what has that changed for you? Okay. But what has it changed for you or what has it offered like what is the benefit, I guess, that
I
you're
don't really
experiencing,
know. I
whether
don't
it
even know how
be
to articulate why I'm so drawn to
it's
continuing
like
that habit.
even if it's an emotion, like what's
Yeah.
the I don't know,
It just feels so
just feels
grounded. I
right.
mean, it's another opportunity to step outside barefoot and just feel your feet on the earth and
Sure.
just, I don't know, just be with nature for a minute in a time that normally you'd be in this closed room with electric light and plumbing. And I don't know,
Yeah.
just it's like this little invitation to commune with creation, I guess. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm like trying to figure out because like I feel very drawn to this idea and I'm like, why?
But
Why
why?
do
I
I
know,
feel
right?
like what is the and sometimes I guess there's just a you don't have to answer it. You can just do the thing that you want to do
Totally.
and you
You
don't
don't
need
really need a good
permission.
reason. It's
You
not
know?
hurting anything to do it.
It's funny you
Yeah.
said right. It's funny you mentioned that you said they slept outside even when they had a home, like they just
Mhm.
felt like they wanted to sleep outside.
Mhm.
That's what they did. Because really recently, so my morning routine is solid. My evening routine, not so much. And
Same.
it's probably more solid than, it definitely is more solid than it was a year ago. It's definitely something that, you know, there's a lot of things in my evening routine that I'm really proud of. And I'm like, hey, I can't disparage the small beginnings that we're here. Like we're back to doing just candles at night and like I'm going to bed by like 8:30, 9 o'clock every night. And I'm, just there's some things that are very clearly I'm glad that they're there. I'm just eager to get to where my ideal is in my head. There's still this desire to spend my 10-minute scrolling time, which it is a very firm 10 minutes. Sometimes it'll be 20 because I haven't used my 3 10-minute times. Like, I'm finding I'm not using my phone through the day to watch the reels. And so it's like, "Oh, these people sent me these things." And so it's the only time I open social media is because somebody sent me something that I've been saving
Mm.
for when I have the time to look at it. And so
Mhm.
while I have loved that and it's not filling up my day, there's still these little pebbles my friends have sent me that are joy and connection to them. And so I'm trying to
Mhm.
find like, how do I do that? But then I end up scrolling through on those,
Yeah.
like, okay, now I'm ending my day with the thing that I've been wanting. Like I
Uh-huh.
need to find I guess a middle day where I can then like sun max before and after it or something. I don't know. Because
Hmm.
I don't know. But because I do enjoy the, "This made me think of you. I'm sending this to you." Like, that feels like love.
Totally.
So, I'm not wanting to completely remove that, and I'm not having an addiction to like, when it's closed, I'm like, "Cool, it's done." But it is kind of the sticky thing in my evening routine. Anyway, the whole point, completely rabbit trailed. So,
Mm.
there was this one
Mhm.
particular night where everybody was just kind of in chaos. The house was in chaos. I was really tired. I really wanted the dark. People were kind of fighting, "Well, I have to do this and this," the candles aren't enough, and they would switch on a light, and then Brandon would be like, "No, you're gonna make your mom sick." Because literally, the early in the pregnancy, like, lights would literally cause me to vomit. Like, I'd be like, "It's too late, and the lights are on, and like,
Uh,
I would start vomiting. So he has gotten to be, like, protective of, like,
oh my word.
it's making that is the only thing that happened before she vomited, "You're not turning on lights." And so there was just chaos. And it was like, "Thank you for protecting my space, but also everybody is mad now and everybody's frustrated and da, da, da." So I just like, "I'm done. I'm going outside. Like, I love you all. Good night.
There you go.
Going outside." And I took my towel and I went outside up to the clearing and I just laid down in the grass and I'm looking up at the stars and it was peaceful. And then like I think some of my kids ended up following me out and I was like, this is fine. You can be out here, but we're being quiet and we're looking at the stars. Do you hear the birds? Do you hear the crickets? Like, they were like, "Yeah." And so then they just kind of like, I set the tone and they just followed, but it was like the house was too chaotic to set the tone, so I just went outside to let nature set the tone, you know?
Yeah.
And I was, like, laying there going, "I just wanna sleep out here. Actually, I think maybe for the next month, I'm gonna sleep out here. Like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna sleep
Do it.
outside." And
Yeah.
and then I can't and but there's so much like, I do get eaten up by mosquitoes and ticks and all the things in our yard, and so which the ticks have
Mm,
finally seemed to have gone away. I don't think I've seen many ticks lately because we've let our chickens we got way more chickens, and they're now free ranging completely, and so we haven't had any ticks lately, but I just was
great.
kinda like I was starting to get eaten up and was like, "Okay, maybe if I just have Brandon set me up a tent."
Mhm.
I'm gonna do that, but I haven't followed through, and then you said that, and I was like, I
It's a little nudge.
might just take this as a cue to
Yeah.
really just max my outdoor time. I think it will be beneficial to my healing.
Mhm.
Some ways I also wrote it off because I was in a bad mood, and I was like that
Oh,
scripture
yeah.
was like there was a level of like, I'm running away from my house right now. I'm running away from the chaos and the people and the anger and the da da. And and I had this scripture just not this is not the way to use the scripture. This was weaponizing the scripture. But it's better for a man to sleep on the roof of his house than to have a
Then
nagging
live with a
wife or
quarrelsome
something.
wife.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and so I was just like, "God says it's better to live on the roof of your house than live with quarrelsomeness, so I'm just done." And so, there was this, like I was like, "Okay, maybe I'm being excessive, and I don't have to go live outside," but, mm, yeah, and it was just one night after a lot of big, busy activity, it was a day
Yeah.
in the life of 10 people, but it does make me go, "Huh, what if I did that from a place of,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, not out of
desire
frustration,
and
but
not
out
out of
of just some
frustration,
positive
but out of,
reasons.
like,
Yeah.
I just want to do this for the peace and the healing and the, switch and pace." Been really trying to up my heat intolerance by, being outside and just hearing the ways other people are living, like,
Mhm.
kind of the way we have created so much convenience in our life has created so many more problems, and, you know, like, she's like, "We don't have AC in our house. We don't want AC in our house. It makes me not be able to enjoy the outside because my house is
Mm.
colder than it should be, and so I'm like, it's making me more heat intolerant, or more yeah, intolerant." And, and just I don't know, seeing these like, why do we do these things? The more I slept and took naps when I was really needing midday naps, and I would sleep on the floor on my wool rug. And I was like, I would have never been able to sleep on the floor before. But something about sleeping on the wool rug, I've been able to sleep without deep cushion, without deep to now
Mm.
I can lay on the ground and be completely comfortable and not me like missing my pillow fort and all the it's like the
Mm.
comforts are great, they're comforts, and I'm not saying that it's wrong to have them by any means, but I'm just realizing, like, what is the comfort stealing from us, and how much value is there in discomfort and in boredom and in, you know, like, all of the creature habits, all of the conveniences have stolen so much, and that's kinda where I'm at in
Mhm.
my life right now. I'm looking at
Mhm.
trying to make my life almost more inconvenient to the mainstream viewpoint so that I can really open up my potential and see better healing in my life and more groundedness and more connection to the Lord and, you know, more connection to the things that actually matter, and connection to
Hmm.
peace and not chaos,
Mhm.
you know? Anyways, so that's
Yeah.
kinda what I've been thinking
Good
on.
goals. Yeah. It's kinda like one thing leads to another too. I feel like you get a taste of
Yeah.
the time outside in the morning, you're like, "I want more of that at other times in my life, and how can I maybe work
Mhm.
that in?" And it's lovely that it becomes a self-perpetuating just journey
Yeah.
of, like, I'm not forcing something, I just genuinely start wanting more of this.
Right, exactly,
Yeah,
and I think
and
that's the
seeing the
thing that
wisdom in
people
it, seeing
don't
the effectiveness.
I think that's
Mhm.
the thing that people don't, realize happens naturally, to, like, just start where you are, start with the one thing, like, okay, you wake up at 9 a.m., fine. Go outside then.
Yeah, go
Like,
outside whenever you wake
just
up.
you don't have to set up your alarm to be at sunrise to do 2 hours and, like, just start where you are, look at the life that you're wanting and, like, "Okay, how do I get 1% of that?" I'm not gonna flip my, script and do, sell the house and go start sleeping outside, like, it's just like, just start with how do you get 1% of that ideal that you have in your head, and then get the 1%. And then as you work on the 1%, then more and more you'll be like, "Actually, I can have 2%. Actually, I'm going in for 10. Like, I can do 10% of this now." Like, and it just becomes where the clearing out naturally happens and the adding in and the habit stacking just becomes easy instead of this, like, I don't know, it reminds me of, like, fad diets and, like, things where we're just like, "We're just gonna clear it all out and do it for 30 days and, fast that and do this and and it's just always extreme and it's not sustainable." But doing it slowly and, just taking the long road is so much more peaceful and actually sustains change, and I think you open up to the things that you didn't even know you wanted, like, before, when you're doing it that way versus you don't know what you want right now. Truly, if
Yeah, I think that's
you're not
true.
even outside ever, you don't know that you might be the person that wants to sleep outside later on. Like, that's not even on your radar, Like,
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that makes no sense.
I think it's
It makes
definitely
sense in
kind of
my
a
head.
taste and see sort of situation too that you have to taste and see
Uh-huh.
the benefits and how even just like the small changes
Yeah.
really do make a big difference. And once you feel that in your
Mhm.
body, instead of just theorizing about like, well, I know if I do this, then it'd probably be helpful for this, this, and this reason. Like you're kind of like thinking through all the reasons it could be helpful, but you don't know it yet in yourself.
Mhm.
And then once you start experiencing that, then there's like a natural uh, just appetite to increase it. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I
I
know for
love
you, it's
that.
been really healing, like just really bringing you back to like from a
Yes.
state of like really being in a bad place to being okay again. And for me,
Yeah.
I was not crashing out. I was not in a bad place per se, but I am really enjoying seeing how some of these small shifts are just building my capacity and my ability to regulate myself
Yeah.
emotionally in response to stressors in my family, especially.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it just feels really nourishing, I guess. It just feels
It
nourishing.
does. Yeah.
So,
It's good.
2 times this week, I managed to get myself to bodies of water on unspoiled land with friends, and that was just really great, and let the kids run wild and catch frogs and row in boats in the lake and play in the creek, and just while talking to good friends, lay on the ground. I even at one of the parks, I they had a bathroom, but I
Yep.
chose to go find a spot off the beaten path and pee outside.
Nice.
Apparently, I'm addicted to being outside now.
Apparently. There must be
Yeah,
some
it works for me.
unverbalizable, that's not a word. What's the word I'm looking for? Whatever, we're going with it. Unverbalizable benefit that you're experiencing.
I must be.
There's a word there that's gonna drive me crazy, and when we're done, it'll come to me, and none of you will know it. So, somebody
Yeah,
out there
that's
is listening
okay.
going, "I know what you're trying to
Ineffable?
say." Maybe.
Ineffable. That's a good word. I
That
love
is
that
a good
word.
word. It's not the word I had, but it is a solid
No.
word, and it's definitely better than verbalizable.
Unverbalizable. It's not even in the
Unverbalizable.
dictionary.
It's definitely not. It is something that we just made up right here for you. Goodness. But
Yeah.
you know what I am very excited about
What?
is in just a few weeks, I'm gonna get to hug you.
Yes! I
So,
know. I almost keep forgetting about it because 'cause we're planning all these things that are further out that we're like
yeah,
or that are closer, like, we're gearing up for another Hearth Mother Journey launch before your
right.
visit, and then we're talking about some, like, more gatherings and retreats in 2027, but then
Yeah.
in between there, you're coming here.
I'm
That's
coming.
right.
I'm
Yeah.
coming. I'm so
Mhm.
excited about it. My kids are excited about it. Because we're doing a threshold skills workshop in Brooks area um,
Mhm.
is full, but I'm very excited to hang out. And in that time, not only are we just going to be there for that short time, we're also doing a nice long vacation with the family. So my whole crew's coming up to hang out with her whole crew, and then we'll just take 2 days of that to do the really fun work stuff.
Yeah, it's,
It's
like,
just
not burdensome.
it's
It's
not work, it's fun,
wonderful.
and then, get some time after, a little time before, a little time after, so it's just kind of,
Yeah,
bookending it, and I'm just really looking forward to that. I think we need
me
to plan
too.
some outdoor adventures and
I've already been thinking about that. I
yeah,
was also thinking about telling all of our older children to sleep outside in tents.
I mean, they would
I think mine would
probably.
too if yours did it with them. We have
I don't
space
know if
for it.
Aiden would, he might, he surprises me.
Mm,
Sometimes, like, I don't realize how much he loves the outdoors. Because he's such a like, I don't know. I think he loves the outdoors more than he lets on, and and he's really been doing a lot outside with his friends lately, but, yeah, I mean, Zach is right up there with, like, Hazel, like, they just
yep.
wanna be outdoors forever, so I think that it would not be hard to convince them to do that at all by any
We should
means.
present the
I'll
idea to
have them
them. I
bring
don't
their
wanna force
hammocks
it,
and
but
stuff.
if it could
Yeah.
be really easy and lovely to do.
Well,
Yeah.
I can definitely bring up our big tents too. We have 2 huge family tents. Both hold 12 people, so
Oh, wow, nice. Well, that'd be fun
yeah.
for them because then they could all be together in there.
Yep.
But otherwise, we're also preparing various rooms of our home to make space for lots of air mattresses and borrowed mattresses and stuff for indoor beds too, so
Yeah.
and we're gonna have to figure out the menu planning. We're gonna have so many people in this house,
Yeah.
like, a lot of people,
I'm
but
bringing
and
I'm bringing
yeah,
10.
I
That's
know.
10 of
So
us.
you're 10 plus my 8. We have
Yeah.
18 in one
18 and
house.
it's a lot of people. It is a lot of
Yep,
people
and our husbands are gonna be, like, with all those children without
uh
us for 2 whole days, so
for
that'll
2
be
days.
interesting for them. Yeah,
Brandon will be fine.
yeah.
Yeah,
Tim
Brandon's so
ultimately will
used
be
to that.
too, but
And
he's gonna
honestly,
need a little
like
bit of prepping.
yeah. And I mean, 3 of mine are very
Yeah,
helpful teenagers,
yeah. That'll be fine.
I mean, it's kind of like you can't really call Aiden and Zach kids anymore. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But crazy how quick that's happening.
Mhm.
He's currently
Yeah.
deciding whether he wants to go to college to be a pastor or just become a pastor, kind of like, he's like,
Mhm.
My friend wants me to go to college with him, and I don't know, I'm thinking about it, but I just don't know if it's necessary, and seems like a lot of money when I just have the Bible here." Like
I get that.
like,
I do get
yeah,
that.
it's like, "I have rubbed off on you."
Finding the alternative pathways. Yeah,
Right?
I know,
Yeah.
like, because even Hazel the other day, she's only 15, but she said, "I should probably find a job pretty soon, right?" Like, I was like, "Well, yeah, you could." She's like, "Or do you think I could just, like, piece things together by, like, selling things I make and teaching workshops and
Mhm.
working at Strong Roots and, like, little" I was like, "Yeah, it's called gig economy. You could totally do that. Like, you don't have to go work for the man to earn money. There's lots of creative ways to piece together a living."
Yeah.
Or and so I just
Lots of
love
be
having
an
our kids think
entrepreneur.
outside the
Be an
box
entrepreneur.
about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, we'll see what she
Yeah.
ends up doing.
Gotta do the
Mhm,
things they wanna do.
mhm.
Yeah, I know he asked our pastor, like, "Okay, to be a pa do I have to go to our college?" Because our church actually has a college. He's like, "Do I have to go to our college to be a pastor at our church?" And they're like, "No, we have lots of pastors that, didn't go through an LC college." And he was like, "Okay." Like, "Alright." So, it's not a closed door if I don't choose that, but he's also kinda interested, so he's just trying to decide and praying over that. So,
Yeah,
just
it's
crazy
exciting. It's beautiful
thinking about
calling to
having
and weighty
one
calling.
growing in the womb and one waiting to,
Yeah.
you know, on the end of like, just really bookending it right now, like,
Yeah, you are.
bookending the
Big
childhood
time.
years right now.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, you for sure are.
yeah.
So, are you a Jesus loving woman who feels called to serve birthing mothers, but feels overwhelmed by the secular New Age ideologies in the birth world? You sense the holy tug to be a birth keeper, doula, or traditional midwife, but it feels impossible to find training that honors both your faith and autonomous birth.
Allow us
to introduce you to Hearth Mother Journey. This isn't just another birth worker training, it is a transformative journey that will ground your birth ministry in biblical wisdom, equip you with a Christ centered methodology of traditional, undisturbed birth practices, transform you into the wise guide God is calling you to be, and expand the depth and breadth of your understanding of physiological pregnancy, birth, and postpartum.
Join the rising of the modern hearth mother, centered on God's holy hearth, serving as his handmaiden, carrying the sacred fire of wisdom and truth.
We are on a mission to raise up the next generation of holy wild birth keepers. Will you be one of them? Click the link in the show notes to take your next step into your calling.
With the workshop we're doing while you're here, I'm so excited about the venue that I was able to secure for us. It's my friend's art studio. He's a portrait artist and a sacred art. Like he's starting to get into iconography and stuff. So we're going to use his studio, which is in the woods and across the road from a beautiful lake. And where was I going with that? I had a point. Well, I'm just excited about gathering, and I'm having so much fun imagining because I'm reading this book right now called The Art of Gathering. And it's called Why We Meet and Why It Matters or something like that's the subtitle. And it's giving me so much food for thought about what it means to craft a gathering with intentionality and creating like an experience that leaves people changed and marked, and how where we
Mm,
meet and the purposes we state at the beginning of it, and the way we equalize our guests, and the way that we use our gracious, generous authority as hosts. All of these cool ideas that I'm having so much fun applying to, like, even thinking about Threshold, which I want to talk to you more about, but
yeah.
I've even been applying it to other things that I gather people for, including even just your visit, or, like, when I have friends over for dinner or play dates, like, what does it mean, like, to create gatherings with intention? And I think
I
since
think
we
I'm
have
gonna
a
have to
full
pick up this
house for
book.
this one. What? Said
I think I'm gonna have to pick up this book so I can be
yeah,
on the
you
same
do.
page with you
Yeah. You're gonna
for
have to. Well, our friend Heather, our
Threshold.
mutual friend Heather is the one who brought it to our
Yeah,
attention
I
recently, and
saw
I
her. It was on my, like, reading list, but I hadn't purchased it yet because I was
Mhm.
like, I'm currently making, like, I need to read more fiction books, and so I was
Yeah, you
like,
do.
"Okay, I will save that, I will read that," and been trying to focus my energy on fiction right now because I
That's
had
beautiful.
forgotten how much I love fiction, but this feels like it might be timely for me to pick up and read this and then go back into my fiction, or do it at the same
Well,
time,
yeah,
I think.
yeah, if you can do both. I usually have, like, a nonfiction and a fiction going
Yeah.
simultaneously because I can switch between them. But because so many of the things in here I think will be applicable to our shared work even.
Yeah. Yeah, for
So
sure.
it would be great to, like, be able to talk about it together. But tell us what fiction you're
Well,
reading
I
because
think
I
I'll have
am
to get
such a
on the
big
same
fan of
page.
the power of reading fiction. I have a sweatshirt that says
Yeah.
"Build empathy, read fiction."
Love that. Yeah, just finished I'm looking for a new fiction book now, but I just finished a book called Rebecca, and it was what was his name? Orson Card, I think it's something like that. It was literally I walked down to I was like, "I need to read a fiction book. I know I have lots of books in my house. Surely there's something on a shelf that I have not read yet," you know? And I went down to my bookshelves and was like just grabbed one that looked interesting, and I was like, "I think I haven't read this before," and it's literally just like a Genesis of or the Women of Genesis series, and it was a historical fiction about the life of Rebecca, kind of told from
Oh,
her
fun.
viewpoint and kind of, a lot of creative liberties, but just kind of taking,
Mhm.
like, what we do know of her and what we do know of the time, and wrote a really cool fiction novel about the mother of Isaac, the wife of, you know,
That's
or
cool.
the wife of Isaac, the mother of Jacob and Esau. So it
Did you
was
feel it
just
was
really
well written?
I really did enjoy it. And it was interesting because um, it just felt also timely with some of the other things that were coming up in my Bible study and in my life. And like there was just little
Mm,
God winks throughout it for me in my season.
mhm.
I don't know that it's, like, the best piece of fiction I've ever read or anything like that, like,
Sure.
it's not like I don't know if it's one that I'd be like, "Oh, everybody should go read this." Like, it was a good book, and it was good for my season currently. I think it was a good one, yeah, but it was
Yeah.
just an interesting read and enjoyed kind of even the look into the, connection with nature and just
Mm,
putting myself in that time period right now as I'm, like, expanding my time outdoors, and they're sleeping in tents, and they're, 10 people, and that the connection with the
oh,
animals
yeah.
and the water and, just I don't know, it just was a lot of good things. So, yeah, I did enjoy
That's
it, and
great.
there were definitely some things that as a Bible nerd, I was like, "Not sure." But,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
But isn't that cool how
that's
even fiction can end up speaking into our lives in
oh,
meaningful
absolutely.
ways? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's almost like you have these, like, God ordained moments with certain fiction books where there's some part of that
Oh,
story that your heart needs or
that my
yeah.
heart needed, and I
Mhm.
think that's definitely really what it was for this book. It was like, "Oh, I needed this. I needed this story. I needed to be reminded of some of the faith walk and the family struggles and the just, like, all the things." Like, they did he did do a really good job of painting people as people,
Mm,
like, as people be peopling out here, and they do silly things for really good reasons. In their heart, they have positive intention, but it's really harmful at
mm,
times, and it's like he really showed that in the characters of these, great people of faith and the word, and how very broken they were, and how very, like, they all had the best of intentions, and yet, for the reasons of why they did something that felt deceptive on the outside to others or hurtful on the outside to others, but also was, like, how that shows up in the world, like, it just is real. So I did appreciate how he really grappled with the human condition
that's
in that
great.
in that story. So it
Yeah.
was a good book, and it was good for my heart. And so now I'm like, "Okay, what's my next fiction read?" I think I might just go roam
Mm,
the library and find something because
mhm,
I had pretty much read most of everything that was on my shelf
mm.
that were fiction, at least. So I was like, it's been a really long time since I dove into the fiction world, and I had forgotten how much I love it. I think there was the last decade or so, I've just been very focused on, building knowledge and wisdom and teaching and being a better teacher and being, getting closer to the Lord. And like, there's been a lot of my own learning, my own growth, my own then being a teacher and teaching, like just all of that has really put me in the realms of both like biblical theology and birth textbooks and,
Mhm.
just and good I don't even call them self-help books, but I guess that's technically the space that some of them have been in, like, I don't know, like, The Art of Gathering, is that self-help? I don't know. Yeah, like, kind of, I guess. But,
Mm,
these kinds of books that are, like, just improving your life and your mindset and your belief systems and, bettering who you are as a person, as a gatherer, as a
mhm.
teacher, as a whatever. So, those are the type of books I normally read, and I forgot how much I enjoy fiction. Like, I just was like, I love to read, and I knew that I loved to read, and reading that book was like, "Oh my goodness, I forgot how
Mm,
much there is to learn in fiction, how much wisdom is hidden in
mhm.
these things, how much
Yeah.
joy there is." And it's almost like, and I'm sure that you could get into an unhealthy escape, but it's like a healthier escape than there is with the, like, fantasies of television and screens and scrolling
Yes.
and these things. It's like a different type of it feels like a healthier type of invitation outside of your current existence
Mhm. I agree.
that offers perspective instead of numbing, you know?
Well said. Yeah. Mhm.
So, I think that's why I love fiction, and I forgot.
I'm so happy
And
you're
so I'm just
rediscovering
like,
it.
"Oh, my old friend, I need to make a library
Yes.
trip. I need to buy a
Yeah,
new
you
book.
do.
I need to." Which is funny, my office is literally connected to a bookstore. Like
Oh, that's right. Yes.
like,
Go right
I
in
can
there, right after work today.
I can just go and find a book, you know?
Yeah.
And honestly, the library's across the street. Like, I'm so, like, I could walk to the
Oh my
library and
word.
my
Yes, easy
bookstore is literally
access.
here. So
Take
I
advantage.
just need to go and get a new book. But I will probably see if the Art of Gathering is at the library or
That's a good idea.
maybe a stroke of luck at the local bookstore. And
Mhm.
if not, then I'll pick it up and try and get that read before Threshold as well. But
Yay. I love that idea.
yeah,
That's great. That's so beautiful. Yeah. I'm reading Sense and Sensibility right now for my fiction pick at the moment.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun
Yeah.
to go dip into the classics once in a
Uh-huh.
while. I also read Little Women this year, so I guess that's a couple classics for me this year.
I was thinking about reading Secret Garden. It was one that
Oh, that's
popped
fun.
up off my shelf that I'd had. And it is, again, that outdoor theme and I don't
Yeah,
know,
gardens. Mhm.
the gardens. So that one was one of the ones that kind of was like, oh, I could maybe reread that one. But I was feeling like I wanted a fresh something.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, you have any fictions I should go and look into?
Well, I've read a lot of good ones lately.
Yeah.
I may have to send some ideas to you later. But really, I get a lot of my ideas of what to read from my parish book club because
Okay.
everyone reads different things and brings
Yeah.
whatever they're reading and talks about it. I think I've mentioned that before. So I'm always
Yes.
jotting down like, "Oh, that sounds really good. Oh, that sounds really good." And then that really
Right.
helps me make my next choices about what to
Love
read
that.
next. It's very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fun random win. I finally added, you know this, but I'm just going to tell our listeners I finally added testimonials to our Earth Mother
Yeah.
Journey website, which we've had sitting in the archives somewhere. All these students who wrote beautiful things about their experience there. And I can't tell you how heartwarming it was to pull them up and read them and just let them wash over me as I was setting that
Yeah.
up for the website. Because yeah, it's easy to get lost in the weeds of the nitty-gritty of, like, planning
Mhm.
things out and getting tech pieces in place and scheduling automations and, like, hosting
Yeah.
open house, like, you can get lost in the weeds of the
The
making the
admin.
thing happen technically,
Yeah.
but to sit down and pause and just to remember, like, what a huge impact it's actually had on people's lives in really real ways,
Yeah,
um,
enjoying the fruit
it's
of it
really
is
motivating.
such a blessing and, yeah, very motivating. I was reading the ones that you picked out and was like, "Oh, I don't think I've read all of these." Like,
Mhm,
some of them I had definitely read when they first came in, and then some of them I think they must have snuck in, like, later after, like, a bunch had been sent in, and then it was like, "Oh, they must have come in, 6 months down the line." I just never saw that they came in after we kind of initially asked. And so, yeah, I was just like, "Oh, I'd never read that." Just, like, weeping, honestly, to see some of these. Like, I always am just so blessed that, like, we got to be a part of their transformation stories and their, like, God stories and their, they're just like, "I feel capable. I feel like," like, just,
mhm,
"I learned more about God. I found out he was my provider. Like, this is something that everyone should do. This was more
mhm,
value than," I'm just like, "What? You guys are saying what?" Like,
yeah,
just, I don't know. It's very it's so funny because you would think reading that would be, like, make you prideful, but it's just so humbling. And I'm like,
yeah,
I
I
don't know how
agree.
to explain that, but it's just so humbling to be like, "You said what? Okay. Thank thank you." Like, it's just a massive compliment that I struggle to hold at all, and I'm like, "Okay.
Well, because
Wow.
it
Wow,
surpasses
thank you,
what
Lord."
like, the impact surpasses what you and I know we're capable of in ourselves, and it's,
Yes,
like,
100%.
something that we wouldn't have even anticipated sometimes,
Mhm.
like, obviously,
Yeah.
God did that, like, God came into this this container and, like, moved
Yes.
within it for these women, and it's not even about us having perfectly engineered some sort of, like, client experience or
Right.
something, like,
Yeah.
He's doing it,
It
and
just is so cool that he
because we just keep
used
giving it back to
us
him.
to do that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it does. It just makes me humble to think like, "Oh, wow, God, you used me and what we created together, like, you used us to do that for her?
Yeah.
You love
Yep.
her so much." Like, that's so cool. So, yeah.
Mhm.
definitely a fun little one of the fruits of this work that I didn't know would be such a joy, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
You
Yep.
think that testimonials are just to, like, help others wanna buy the program, and it's like, "I'm sorry, this just feels like a blessing that got sent to me." You know, like, it's,
Yeah.
like, just a
Yeah.
huge it's just, like, getting washed over with blessings, so
Yeah. I was then inspired after doing it for Hearth Mother Journey to like, I knew I had a bunch of testimonials for a sister birth too that I had been
Mm,
sitting on that were either in, like, Google reviews or Facebook reviews. So I finally, like, did that thing where you can make a widget
mhm.
and it pulls them from those places and then puts them on your website. So that was also a blessing to read through
Nice.
those afresh and
Right.
feel the just affirmation of my call to this work and just that humility of being
Yeah.
like, "Wow, he uses me," even in places where, like, some of the testimonials were from women that in some ways I feel like I, like not that I failed them, but I could have done so much better, or, like, I've been critical
Sure.
of myself, and yet they still write this glowing
Mhm.
thing, like, in spite of my fumbling,
Mm,
bumbling ways of serving, it still somehow had this impact, and
mhm.
yeah. So, cheers
I
to
think
gathering and reading testimonials to remind
yeah.
you of why you're doing what you do and keep going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think, this the way we look at our work, especially people who really are, you're evaluating your work, you're wanting to be better, you're reading the books to be a better teacher, you're taking the trainings to do what you're doing better, like you're to learn the things you need to do to show up well in your gifts and callings and passions, etc. We also have this tendency to be so hard on ourselves and to
Mhm.
like judge all of the where we were maybe fumbly mumbly, where we did fail, where we did like not be the strongest teacher in that way or not serve as best as we maybe could have or you're like that's the what best I could at that point, but now that I've done this peer review or now that I've seen what I did, I watched that video and was like, what was I doing? Like, why did
Mhm.
I do that in that birth video? What? Like, you just see yourself from the outside and it's so easy to be like, you see the fault bigger than all of the other things
Yeah.
that that, we could have done better. And you start to focus on that instead of all the things that God did in the midst of that moment. I think of a student
Mm.
that said yesterday, yeah, she was working through a hard birth where honestly the birth ended well and mom and baby were good and mom's happy and all the things, but she had felt like there were some things that she could have done better
Yeah.
and she was being really hard on herself and the Lord something and I don't want to mess up what he said to her. So if I get it
Mm.
wrong, you know who you are. Correct me because I don't want to put words in the mouth of the of Lord. But he said something to the effect. This is maybe my paraphrase of it, but he said something to like, "My grace was sufficient for you that birth. My grace is not sufficient for you to keep going back to that day." Like it was sufficient then. It's not for you to keep ruminating on and replaying and replay. You don't have grace to replay and replay and replay and beat yourself up over this, right? Like that last
Yeah.
part was all my paraphrase of like what she was saying she got out of that. And I think we do that so much. And think about some of the failings we've had as teaching in HJ, especially that first cohort. We did some things that we are like,
Yep.
"Well, let's get better."
Yeah.
And
Yep.
yet some of the most glowing reviews come from that first cohort.
From the women who worked through those sticking points with
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's
Which says a
like
lot about them too. They were really so gracious and honoring in the
yes.
way that they approached us with their concerns,
Yeah.
that it was
So
a really positive experience, but
they
yeah.
really they I think they really shaped HJ just as much
Mhm.
as we did. Like, there was so much
Mhm.
that they really I mean, they made the program a year instead of 9 months for crying out loud. That was their
Right.
call, like,
Yeah,
"Can
that's
we do
right.
this
They were
longer?" Like,
responsible for that.
"This is not enough time. We need" yeah, like yeah. So, lots of good things. But it just makes you go, "Okay, we can stare at the problem and the thing that needs to be fixed, or we can stare at the grace that God's giving you for today. And, it's the scripture that keeps not, it keeps, I can't get away from right now is like the, the mercies are new in the morning, the joy comes in the morning. Like it's throughout the word in so many places. And he just keeps talking about me about like the newness of the new day, of the mercies in the morning and the morning, my morning habits and my more, like just starting afresh.
Mhm.
And I
Uh,
think that it all just kind of is connecting in my head here of how all this kind of combines into one, like, I don't know, fresh morning routines and you know, freshness of his grace and all the things.
I think you've just named this episode. New Morning
Perhaps.
Mercies.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, this is good. I feel like there's more things we could talk about, and yeah, the reality of life is that we both have things to get to next, and but
Yeah.
actually, I feel like I can get away with this. This is one kind of shallow, fun question that also is kind of related to Morning Mercies. I'm gonna ask it of both of us. What's the current state of your kitchen table, literally, right now?
So my kitchen table is normally a wreck. It's kind of very much in the midst of, right, similar to your house. It's in the middle of everything
Yeah.
in a very kind of open floor plan kind of space. And normally it's a wreck. But this morning I actually walked out and it was just like it was perfectly clean and it had this candelabra sitting on it with all of the like fresh new, barely burnt beeswax candles. And it was just set up beautifully. And I was like, oh, it's still nice and clean, which is
Yeah.
never happening. Normally, I'm like,
Yeah.
I come out and I'm like, I can't wait to be outside because the house has so many things it needs done. But this morning I was like, I actually could stay here, but I'm not gonna. But like, this is beautiful,
Mm,
and it was
mm.
it was all because my older kids had a friend over the night before, and was like, hey, can we have so and so over to do such and such, and I was like, only if you clean everything,
Yep.
yeah, I want the house reset, and then, yeah, you can have whoever, but, like, clean your messes? And
Yep.
and so they did, and they did a great job, and it stayed for longer than, that short period of time, which was
Yay.
a mercy, a new morning mercy in and of itself.
Doesn't it make a pretty significant difference to, like, how you feel when you can look at your
Mhm.
table that way? Like, when it's clear and
Yes.
pretty? Man, it
Yeah,
makes a big difference for me. So mine,
it does.
since I when I woke up this morning, there was weirdly, like, one of my son's huge storage bin kind of things that I'd purchased for them to try to help them contain their messes in their bedroom. They're like these stackable bins that open. For some reason,
Uh-huh.
one of those was on the table, and inside of it, a thin layer
Sure.
of random bits and bobs and trash, and I was like, "Why is this here?"
As it would.
And then the other half of it had just kind of, like, some scattered random objects, and because last night, I was out of the pocket. I was on my mama break night, so I didn't really come out to that living room, so I don't even know what was happening last night. I was like, "There's all sorts of weird stuff on this table this morning." But it turns out I found out that the bin was there because Gus was trying to let his siblings have anything they wanted from there, and I'm like, "It's pretty much trash. You could just throw it away." He also had a couple, like, things he made from kiwi crates, like, on the
Oh,
table.
yeah.
I don't know why. But I know it's changing because my once a month, I hire a cleaning lady, which I weirdly feel guilty admitting. I don't know why. Feels Anyway, I do, and I love it. I love it, I love it. It's been actually pretty massive for my mental health to know that once a month, somebody's gonna come in and, like, deep clean and, like, detail clean, and then even if it gets messy again, I know she's coming back. So, anyway, she's here today. So that means that that's not gonna stay the situation. It's gonna be different by the time the stay is over. Because I love it when my table is clear and has just the candles and some bouquets of wildflowers from my yard lined up
Mhm.
all the way down. I have
Yes.
a 12-foot-long table, if
Right.
you don't know. But usually it has, like, board games set up on one side, or, like, we don't have a TV, so when we have family movie night, Tim sets up a larger, like, computer monitor and speakers and a
Mhm.
laptop on the end of it so we can watch something, and then it'll sometimes stay there for days. And then the other
Sure.
end, closer to the kitchen, has, everybody's meal, stuff, like stuff they've been eating, or there's like art projects happening on it or
Yeah.
whatever. So it's very rarely actually clear.
Sounds like it's what it normally looks like in my house generally. We
Yeah.
especially because they don't have a ton of like, only a few of our kids have, like, they're really their own space. Like, they all do to some degree, but, like, they pretty much, mostly commune in the living room.
Yeah.
We just have a smaller space, and so people
Mhm.
that's where they're at. And so there's always, like that's where they're writing their scriptures, and that's where they're doing
Mhm.
their art projects, and that's where they're painting, and that's where they're eating their breakfast and their lunch and their dinner and their 900
Playing a board
snacks, and
game.
they're playing their
Yeah.
games, and that's like, it's just where all the things are, and then it's where the mail gets set, and it's where you know, my my son will come up, and he'll be on his computer for something, but he's up to be more present with maybe the babies because Brandon's gonna go do something, or, like, he's like, "Hey, can you be up here?" And so then he's sitting there at the edge with his stuff, and you're just like, "Okay." It's just normally the hub of all the activity in the house, and that's what you can see as the table is holding, but it was nice to see it all nice and clean and ready for today's activities. I'm sure it's
That is
covered at
an
this point.
maybe. It was a new morning mercy that was fleeting.
Yeah, yeah, it was a new
Yeah.
morning mercy, and it was ready for all of the expansion that will occur on it today.
Ah, good. Yes. Gotta take that in stride.
Yes.
Well, let's let each other continue on with their days, and same to you, dear listener, wherever you are. We pray that you're having a beautiful day and that you see your own glimmers of God and your own new morning mercies, whatever that means in your life.
Yes, yes, yes. Be blessed.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Holy Wild Birth. We hope that you were genuinely encouraged, inspired, and challenged by what you heard today. If you're loving what you hear, please make sure that you share it, leave reviews. That helps other mamas find this content as well. And don't forget to read the show notes, okay? Because that's where you can find our email address if you want to reach out to us and start a conversation. It's also where you'll find free offerings as well as invitations to work with me and or Lauren. We can't wait to get to know you. See you next week.